So let's talk for a moment here about the regular Newtonian world. As Ellie was introducing, she used that word a few times. Newtonian, Isaac Newton, right? This is the world of regular physics. It has a few characteristics that are super important. One is that causes come before results. Causes come before effects. That if there's something happening over here, if time is moving along that way, let's say, then something has to happen here to cause this thing here. It's nice and sensible. It is the world we live in. It is the everyday world we live in. And in Newtonian reality, our consciousness, and there is all kinds of debate and discussion about this, and there are very rigorous, brilliant scientists and thinkers on one side of this discussion or the other. Physical reality gives rise to consciousness in the Newtonian world. That's pretty straightforward. Right? And there are a few other things that are really important. The interactions that we have in the world have to be caused locally. Again, here's a cause, here's an effect. Something has to happen. For me to move this glass here, I have to push on it. Something has to transfer the impetus from my fingertips to the glass and it moves. This is regular reality. We are all brilliantly good at Newtonian reality. All of us know exactly how, or more or less, know exactly how much to press on the brake pedal to stop at the stop sign and not way before the stop sign and not way out. We're very good at Newtonian reality. Our nervous systems are designed to deal with Newtonian reality. There is another domain, the quantum domain. This is the domain that began to be discovered actually in the very final days of the year 1899. A German physicist named Max Planck was getting bored with his New Year's party and went upstairs, as any good physicist will do during a New Year's party, and decided to do some mathematics. And he was trying to work out some particularly difficult problems, and he stumbled on some things and then it became 1900, and then it became 1901, and then it became 1905, and a person named Albert Einstein put forward his first famous paper, and the entire world turned upside down. If you were a physicist, it turned upside down. If you were a regular resident of the world, nothing much changed. But inside the mathematics of quantum mechanics, it is observed that causes do not necessarily precede effects. That effects arise somehow. Many of us have heard the term the quantum foam, the cloud of probabilities from which human consciousness, or some consciousness with which human beings participate. This cloud of possibilities and probabilities. Something reaches out and selects one of those possibilities or probabilities to become real. In this instant, and then in this instant, inside time, and then in this instant, and here we are, right? But outside of this local reality, effects can appear and float about somehow for a while and try to find causes that they would like to be attached to. So let me direct your attention right now to some effect that you would like to have in your life, some result, or the word we like so much in NLP is outcome. What is an outcome that you would like in your life? Please, if you would right now, just kind of scan through your life and select something that you are not experiencing currently that you would like to experience. Just please put your attention on that for a moment. And then just notice, if we go backwards a little bit, notice that you're going to have to figure out how to get that to happen. Right? What are the things you can do to cause that reality to occur? Really straightforward, really appropriate question. Let's come forward to this version of reality for a moment, because this is where consciousness works. This is where actually thought operates. This is where the extraordinary main task of human beings dwells, which is to, inside this world, put our attention on what we do want and make a choice about what that is. In other words, to go out to the quantum domain and create, call in, make available, potentiate a probability, a reality that we would like to experience. And then in the natural flow of events, our Newtonian systems will hook it up to some kind of cause. And after the fact, we'll say, well, of course. But right until then, it's mysterious, right? We will come to the role of particularly our heart in that endeavor very, very shortly. And if you look at the second item up there, this most particularly is important that, well, let's go back. In the Newtonian domain, there is an in-here experience that's very definitely here. Take a moment, please, and notice your internal experience. There you are having that experience. Our task in this world is to have our experience, as far as I can tell. This is what the universe asks of us. If it asks anything, it says, please have your experience and contribute that experience to the larger endeavor. And all of us are incredibly good at having our experience. There's no one here who doesn't know to have your experience, how to have your experience, right? What that experience is, the joy with which we meet that experience, or the pain that we experience about that experience, that's all variable, but we're having our experience. So, in the regular world, there's an in here and an out there, and they're quite distinct. If we don't have that distinction, how are we supposed to be ourselves? That distinction is extraordinarily important. There's a lot of teaching that's been around for a long time, the objective of which is to blur or adjust the edges, the boundaries of that distinction between in here and out there. That's extraordinarily important and beautiful teaching. But the whole point of being here is to have an in here and an out there, so that we can attend to in here without having to attend to out here. There's an old saying that God created time so that everything doesn't happen all at once. We've all probably heard that one. There's a corollary on that I really appreciate. And God created space so that everything doesn't happen to you. Okay? When we go quantum, that distinction between in here and out there is gone. There is no subject and object. There is no observer and that which is observed. They are the same phenomenon somehow. Now that idea, that can just kind of sit kind of precariously in the higher parts of our brains. It's such a concept. But when we step into that and we start to be able to notice the implications of that and what we might use it for, how are we going to do stuff is the question here. And the question here is, what would we like? Right? What would we like? So as we start to work with that, it seems mysterious and it's really hard to show your neighbor because there's nothing to show them. It's sort of like, you want to see an amazing thing? Great. You want to see it again? Thank you. But we'll come to that in a little bit.